Feds say they have no concrete evidence, including no video footage of Pooh Shiesty or Big 30 possessing a gun or threatening Gucci during an alleged robbery in Dallas. Make sure y'all smash that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Ron, thank you. Now to a new development tonight in the arrest of Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty. He and 8 others are charged with kidnapping rapper Gucci Mane. Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., and another Memphis rapper known as Big 30 appeared in federal court today. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller was in the courtroom in downtown Memphis. So Caitlin, fill us in. What happened today?
Yeah, Joyce, so they're actually still in there, but what I can tell you is that a special agent from the FBI, Marcellus Hobbs, from the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, took the stand, and defense attorneys for Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's father, and Rodney Wright Jr., also known as rapper Big 30, asked Hobbs a key question. Is there any hard evidence, like video surveillance, showing either man possessing a gun or threatening anyone? And Hobbs said no. He also testified that no concrete evidence was found in Wright's car or Williams' homes when they were arrested. But even so, the judge ruled there is still probable cause for both men and all defendants who appeared today based on cell phone data, outside surveillance video, and victim statements that stand uncontested. Right now, we're still waiting for the detention decision, so we're watching to see whether they'll be held or released as we move forward. Thanks, Joyce. This is Caitlin Miller. Action News 5.
More alert today is your boy Rock Carmichael. Rock Carmichael is a former NFL defensive back, elite trainer, and mentor to the next generation of athletes. On his YouTube channel, Rock break down real training sessions and give you pro-level coaching tips and share insightful NFL commentary you won't hear on no other YouTube channel but the 1% Network. The link will be down below. Make sure y'all tap in.
Virginia Tech cornerback Rashad Carmichael was the leader of a young Hokies defense last season and one of college football's best boundary corners.
It's your boy Music 101, the Street Reporter, and I'm back with another video. Let's get into it. Before I explain how Pooh Shiesty may beat this case, well, at least avoid a life sentence, let me give y'all the update on Pooh Shiesty's father and Big 30 situation. Pooh Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., was granted strict home incarceration and was only permitted to leave his home for court after he was given a $250,000 bond. But the Fed said, "Hold up. Wait a minute." The government moved to pause his release because they intend to appeal and ask the court to revoke his bond entirely, arguing he should remain in custody pending trial. So basically, they want him to fight this case from jail. Yo Gotti lawyer Arthur Horn spoke out on Big 30 behalf, and this is what he had to say. Check it out.
He doesn't have a criminal history. He doesn't have a criminal record. He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came up in the music game together, and they were sort of like, they're very close, and they made, some magical music. I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals until all the facts come out.
As y'all heard, the feds have no hardcore proof or video that Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, or Pooh Shiesty's father threatened or robbed Gucci. What they do have is victims' statement, like Gucci, the cameraman, Gucci friend, and 2 off-duty officers with the video footage of before and after the alleged robbery. But let's get into the paperwork first.
And here we go.
On January 10th, 2026, at approximately 4:50 p.m., victims who will be referred to throughout this affidavit by their initials or collectively as the victim, RD, who is Gucci, MM is the cameraman, BP is Gucci friend, were kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint at a music studio located on Dallas Parkway in Dallas, Texas. This location is within the Dallas division of the Northern District of Texas. At approximately 1 p.m. on January 10th, 2026, the victims flew into Dallas, Texas alongside RD head of security, who referred to as CW, and the other security officer referred to as TD, for a scheduled business meeting between RD and the suspect, Williams Jr. Williams Jr. is a hip-hop artist known as Pooh Shiesty and has been signed to a recording contract for RD music label 1017 since approximately 2021. RD and Williams Jr. was scheduled to meet because Williams Jr. was upset with the terms of his contract and wished to be released from his contractual obligations. Williams Jr. had asked RD to come to Dallas on this date so they can meet about business. At approximately 1:45 p.m., CW and TD and the victims arrived at the scheduled meeting location, a music studio located within a large office building. When CW and TD and the victims entered the office building, they realized the recording studio owned by individual referred to as JN was closed. While they waited for the studio to open, the five went to the liquor store and purchased liquor and plastic red Solo cups before returning to the studio. Williams Jr.'s father, Williams Jr. Sr., called JN multiple times on the day of the meeting at approximately 2:53 p.m. JN answered the phone and learned that Williams Sr. was attempting to book a recording studio that afternoon for Williams Jr. and RD to record music at or around 3:15 p.m. JN opened the studio for RD, MM, BP, CW, and TD. Investigators later collected and reviewed surveillance footage captured at another business located in the same office building on the same floor as the recording studio, which shows Williams Sr. outside of the office building at approximately 3:27 p.m. on January 10, 2026. Left, Williams Sr. appeared to be speaking with someone on his cell phone before entering the building at around 3:28 p.m. Right at approximately 3:39 p.m., an employee of the studio arrived to assist with production. When the employee arrived, Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. was standing at the back door of the office building, engaged in what appeared to be an argument over the phone. Approximately 3:43 p.m., Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, and Daniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walked through the lobby area of the office building before going into the studio. One individual with the dreadlocks hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the office building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. It says Wright is also known as the hip-hop artist Big 30. The 9 individuals entered the studio control room, where inside the victims were watching a football game. CW was positioned in the studio lobby while TD remained in the vehicle they arrived in. Depicted below are the photographs of the studio lobby. Left, studio control room. Right, and studio recording room. Bottom, taken from Dallas Police Department, DPD, body camera, and crime scene photographs captured on the night of the offense. The victims overheard Williams Jr. talking on the cell phone, potentially with a probation or parole officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out for rec time. From that, the victims could hear Williams Jr. was informed that was not the case and he needed to return immediately. Williams Jr. agreed. Williams Jr. was wearing an ankle monitor, leading the victims to believe that Williams Jr. was on house arrest. RD told Williams Jr. they could reschedule a studio session, but Williams Jr. requested to speak with RD privately in the attached recording room. RD agreed and entered the recording room with Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright. Meanwhile, MM and BP remained in the control room with 6 other individuals and continued to watch the football game. BP offered to share the liquor they purchased with the target suspects. At least 2 accepted, grabbing the red cups and making a drink. Inside the control room, Williams Jr. produced purported contract termination or release papers from a bag and told RD to sign. When RD declined, Williams Jr. became agitated and the pair started to argue. MM and BP could see inside the recording room and initially believed RD and Williams Jr. to be discussing business. But as MM saw the conversation intensifying, he texted CW, who was still in the music studio lobby. As the argument inside the recording room ensued, Williams Jr. instructed Wright to get his bag. Wright complied, leaving the recording room before returning with a bag. Williams Jr. then pulled out what to be a black AK-style pistol from the bag and pointed it at RD, demanding again that RD sign the contractual release paper. RD complied, signing the paperwork for Williams Jr. while Williams Sr. and Wright stood by. RD was not allowed to leave the recording room while he was held at gunpoint by Williams Jr. Wright pulled out a cell phone and purported to record RD signing the paperwork while being forced to say that he released Williams Jr. from their contract. After the release was signed, Williams Jr. took RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. After RD signed the contractual release paper, Williams Jr. provided the paperwork to Williams Sr. and asked him if the paperwork was good. Williams Sr. advised that the paperwork needed to be dated. So Williams Jr. then forced RD to add a date next to his signature. The remaining subjects, Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson, produced handguns or AR, AK-style pistols and began to demand property from BP and MM. BP was pushed onto the couch in the control room, while an individual known to BP as CMO Dan Pooh and part of Williams Jr. crew, later identified as Rogers, searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and necklace bearing the moniker of 1017 were stolen from his neck by another subject he knew as Glizzy 375, later identified as McDaniel. During the robbery, McDaniel repeatedly threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. BP further identified the individual he knew as Baby Slime 375. Goddamn, BP identifying everybody. BP further identified the individual he knew as Baby Slime 375, later identified as Johnson, as being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, and that during the control room robberies, Johnson possessed a firearm and held BP and others at gunpoint. Both MM and BP identified an individual they knew as KD, later identified as Waters, as also being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, possessing a firearm and holding them at gunpoint. MM was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during the kidnapping and robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist. MM was robbed of his Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton bag containing multiple other high-dollar watches, Apple AirPod headphones, and his wallet at gunpoint by Glover. MM confirmed his Louis Vuitton bag, AirPods, and wallet each had an Apple AirTag attached. As the altercation inside the control room ensued, Wright walked over to the studio door to the lobby, closed it, and blocked it with his body, preventing the victims from leaving. CW and TD, the victim's security guards, watched Wright barricade the door and attempted to force their way into the control room, but were prevented from entering. With handguns drawn, CW and TD managed to partially open the door, but recognized that they were outnumbered by the armed target suspects. RD was pushed onto the couch in the control room, causing the victim to believe they were going to execute him. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of the firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room and the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, MM turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance video footage, the target suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance approximately 4:48 p.m. And to end that, they got video footage of them leaving the studio. Now, like the news said, they don't have no video footage of the actual robbery. Only people they got proof and evidence that allegedly robbed Gucci and his people is the guys that posted the damn evidence, which is the watches and chains on social media. That's it. Other than that, it's a good chance Pooh Shiesty might beat this. Like I said earlier, it's going to be his words against the victim's words. And they got to prove in court without a doubt that Pooh Shiesty is guilty. But y'all get in the comments and tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on all post notifications. It's free. Do it for me. Hey, do me a favor. Look down right there to the bottom left and hit that like button for me. Hit that like button right there. I appreciate it. Now continue watching. Promo alert if you need promo. DM me on Instagram at music101CEO. $30 for one promo video on my YouTube. $50 for 3 promo videos on my YouTube. $70 for 6 promo videos on my YouTube. And $130 for 12 promo videos on my YouTube channel. Make sure y'all tap in and get that promo if you want to win. Charleston White, Rick Baby, Bruce Cannon, and the ultimate disrespect. 5 step, I'm the leader of this 8 shit.